I'm Chief Meteorologist Chris Holcomb from the 11 Alive Weather Impact Team. Did you see it out there tonight? Well, we got a lot of folks reaching out to us on social media and through email, asking us what was the crazy cloud that they saw there in Smyrna near Truist Park. We got a lot of pictures in, we got a lot of videos in, and this is one of those right now. This was taken from the Galleria looking over near Truist Park. And it looks like a tornado, right? But it's not a tornado. I want to show this to you full screen so you can get a better look at that of what we're seeing here. This was sent in to us from Kristen Lindsay. Someone tweeted her picture to us. We have her permission to use this here. But this is how it looked. And I know it was really scary to a lot of people out there to see this cloud that actually looks like a tornado. The one key, though, missing from this is there was no rotation. A tornado is a rotating column of air that reaches down toward the ground. And even though this looks like a funnel or looks like a tornado, it was not rotating at all. This is what we often call a scud cloud, which SCUD is stratocumulus under deck, that often extends or descends down from the base of the clouds. And this could be formed in different ways here. You've got colder air up in the clouds, warm, moist air here that could get caught up in one of the updrafts, or at the same time, it condenses with cooler air coming down from the base of the clouds there, and sometimes that can be in the form of a cloud that looks like a corkscrew coming down. But the key, again, is that it was not rotating. And here's proof that it wasn't rotating. This is actual video. This was sent in to me by Emily Buck. This was, again, there in that Smyrna area. And you can see the base of that clouds are clouds extending from the base there. What looked like down to the ground, but it wasn't really making it all the way down to the ground. And even if it did make it down to the ground, it still wasn't rotating. So you can see here, if this was an actual tornado, you would see it spinning like that, but it's pretty much staying still. So what we're seeing is warm, moist air getting caught up in an updraft, condensing there as the cold air is coming down from the cloud, and that's what many people saw out there for tonight. And I've heard people say, if it looks like a tornado, it's a tornado. Well, that's not the case in this one, because just not all the ingredients are there for a tornado. And again, the thing that's missing is that it was not rotating. Matthew Kaminsky is the Braves organist. He tweeted me earlier. He took this picture from the actual press box where the organ is there at Truist, asking me what it was. And again, it looks really scary. A lot of folks at the Braves game were also seeing that too, and we're concerned about this. But again, this was not a tornado. It's what we often call a scud cloud, which is when we have just extensions of the cloud reaching down closer to the ground. And this one was a big one, and it looked scary. But again, it was not a tornado. So here's a look at some of the showers and storms that we're watching out there for tonight. We still have some of those around. I'll go back over here to the desk so we can get a closer look here at what we're watching with some of these storms around. And we've got an area of rain and thunderstorm activity trying to develop again in parts of northwest Georgia right now. Some pockets of moderate to heavy rain, a little bit of thunder and lightning with that too. Right now, the strongest storm that we're seeing is this one here in South DeKalb County. The National Weather Service just put out what they call a special statement on that storm there that we're seeing, really from Redan down into South DeKalb, into parts of western Rockdale County, moving into the northern parts of Henry County there. This was a pocket of really heavy rain and a lot of lightning, but we're already seeing the lightning count with this already come down a little bit. We had a good little spike there in that lightning right at 285 and Interstate 20 here, there to the south and east of the city. But now we're not seeing as much red, not seeing as many lightning bolts there. So that storm is weakening as it moves over into Rockdale County. But the National Weather Service put out a special statement saying winds were around 40 miles an hour. Again, that is below what we would classify as a severe storm. We had a couple of severe storms earlier tonight between 6:30 and 7 o'clock when we were watching some of those storms. A couple of those around 6:15 tonight as well that were down in parts of Butts County, a couple of other ones over in parts of West Georgia, including parts of Meriwether County. But then those expired. One expired at 6:30, the other one expired at 6:45, and we haven't had any other severe thunderstorms out there. But we're still tracking some of these showers, some thunder and lightning, again, some of these showers are heavy, and we do have some winds that are below what we would classify as severe storms as that continues to move on over there to the south and also to the east. So now we're going to watch these, and we have a couple of other ones developing back into Alabama and some of these around Floyd County. And we're going to see what happens with these as they continue to move in. Also, some just developing in North Fulton and then in parts of Forsyth County. But what we are thinking is going to happen is we've already had some scattered showers and storms around. And as those have been here, it's kind of stabilizing a little bit the atmosphere somewhat, and some of the heating of the day has been knocked down with more stable air and some of that cooler air. So as we're watching these showers try to form up in North Georgia and in these North Metro counties, I don't think they're going to be able to really fire up any more out there because we're losing, again, some of those ingredients for some of those to turn strong. Here is another live look at what we're watching. This is from our tower cam at Northside Hospital. This is at Georgia 400 and 285. This is actually looking over a little bit more to the east. I have this angled in this direction because we had a rainbow on here a little bit earlier, but that rainbow is gone now, but you can still see some of the clouds that are around. This is our view in Newnan. Camera is looking toward the west, as again we were watching some showers and storms approaching Newnan earlier, and some of those did make it into Newnan. Now things are a little bit calmer. You can see the clouds actually breaking up a little bit too. And this is our tower cam at Arizona Avenue, where we're looking over toward the west. And we've got a couple of raindrops there on the lens. Still just a few of those showers around. And again, the clouds with the sun that has already gone down a little bit, but we can see some of that color still left on the horizon. Now, I want to take a break, look from local weather quickly, just to show you what we're watching in the tropics right now. And we've been telling you about this system that we need to keep an eye on for the rest of the weekend as we head into the weekend. And it's going to be really just some disturbed weather here in the Gulf of Mexico that we're keeping an eye on. The National Hurricane Center is keeping an eye on it. And when we showed you last night, there was just a 20% chance of development over the next 7 days. And then this morning, it went up to 30%. And we just got the latest outlook from the National Hurricane Center. They're now saying a 0% chance of developing over the next 2 days, but over the next 7 days, they're giving it about a 40% chance of developing. And what we're going to watch here is just this area of disturbed weather in the Gulf that's going to move over the Florida Peninsula and then over into the Atlantic Ocean. And again, this is going to be over the next week when we watch for this potential development here. And those chances are low, but it's something that we have to watch. It looks like everything would be staying well to the south of us. And really just impacting the Florida Peninsula. I really think that a lot of the Florida Panhandle should be fine through the July 4th holiday weekend. But again, any change in that might impact the weather there on the Panhandle. I really think the areas watching this most will be along the Florida Peninsula and then along the Georgia coast, South Carolina coast, and North Carolina coast going into the weekend and also into next week. So it's just interesting to see that those percentages are coming up a little bit. It may be getting a little bit better organized. But whether or not it gets a name or becomes a tropical depression or becomes a tropical storm, whether or not that happens, it's still going to spread rain into the Florida Peninsula, and it may be impacting the Georgia coast if you're headed down to the Georgia coast for the long holiday weekend, or either the South Carolina and North Carolina coast as well. So we're going to keep a close eye on that. Now, back to our local weather, where we're talking about those showers and storms that are out there. Earlier, we were telling you that all of our area was in that level 1 risk for a few isolated storms that could develop. Now, that risk level is pretty much south of the I-85 corridor, south and east of the I-85 corridor here, including areas east of Atlanta, southeast of Atlanta, and south of Atlanta here, that level 1 risk, meaning there's still the potential in those areas that we can see an isolated stronger storm that could develop. Again, the threats would be pockets of heavy rain, moderate risk for strong winds, not concerned about a tornado risk, and some of the storms that we've seen earlier had a little bit of hail with them too. But for us, we're mainly watching between now and midnight for still that potential for some scattered storms. Again, I really think the atmosphere is a little worked over from some of the scattered showers and storms that we've already had around. So hopefully nothing is going to get too strong out there for tonight. But just keep the 11 Alive app there with you on your phone so you can take a look at radar on that app just to keep an eye on those showers and storms that are moving around. Take a look at these temperatures. This is the kind of one of the things that's in our favor that helps us to see that the atmosphere is worked over a little bit. A lot of times at this time of night, we're seeing a lot of 80s around, which is pretty warm. Sometimes we even have still mid 80s here at the 9 o'clock hour after a hot day. But since we've had some rain around already, it has helped to knock down the temperatures. We're really seeing 70s here. Even Carrollton at 73, Peachtree City 73. LaGrange is at 70 degrees after some good rain-cooled air came into that area. Athens 74, Gainesville 78. So as we see additional scattered showers out there tonight, there's just not a lot of high heat for those to work with to get more of that instability and lift. It's just kind of warm out there, but nothing too crazy to make any more of these storms actually become violent or really strong. So what we're watching here for the next 12 hours will be those rain chances pretty much till around midnight, and then we'll pretty much see things drying out a little bit. Still some clouds here for the overnight hours. By morning, we're going to see some sunshine breaking through, temperatures in the lower 70s, and then those temperatures tomorrow start to rise into the upper 80s and even some lower 90s in some spots. Now, I really think this model here that you're looking at is overdoing it, showing it between now and 10 o'clock, this large area of rain. What we were seeing here is really just that area in South DeKalb that was really large. So this kind of times out, measures out with that, but it's just not as widespread as this model is showing. But that is going to exit. And then things get much calmer out there for the rest of the nighttime hours. By tomorrow morning, we're going to have some clouds around to start. Then in the afternoon, lunchtime, looking good with some sunshine mixing in with clouds, partly cloudy. A little bit of green showing up here and there. That's why we're just keeping a 20% chance for a shower here tomorrow. I really think most of us will stay dry, but just as a lot of this moisture works out and the drier air mixes in, and with some heating, there might be just an isolated shower here and there. And then the drier air is going to win out moving into Thursday. Check this out. We're going to go through the day. Still dry, a less than 20% chance for an isolated shower on Thursday, and Friday also looking dry for the 4th of July. Things looking pretty nice. We have that northerly flow still reinforcing the drier air in place. And when we're talking about drier air, I'm talking about more than just not raining, but also the humidity will lower just a little bit. Now, it's still going to be humid at times, but just not oppressively humid, and maybe just a little bit of a nicer feel to the air for Friday and also as we head into the weekend. In fact, here's the moisture map, which shows what I'm talking about here. Notice the oranges here indicating very moist air over our area where we're dealing with some of those showers around. But look what happens. Now that this front is passing through, the blue color starts coming in during the day tomorrow. That is the drier air that's moving in. And again, meaning not just rain, no rain, but lower humidity that'll start moving in. Dew points are going to drop into the 60s here over the next couple of days. We keep the bluish color indicating more dry air here going into Friday and also Saturday. Now you see some of the yellows trying to come back, still a little bit of humidity, but mainly still no rain around. And then this is what I want you to see. Remember, I'm talking about that system down in Florida moving along the coastal area. A lot of oranges, tropical moisture here on the Georgia coast, South Carolina coast, and North Carolina coast. But it looks like that's where the really thick moisture is going to stay. Maybe a little bit of humidity trying to come back into our area going into Monday. We will go back to about a 20% chance for a shower on Monday or Tuesday. But that potential system that we're watching moving across Florida and then off into the Atlantic is the one thing that we really have to watch that could change the forecast if any part of that system, direction of where it's going or where it ends up decides to spin any moisture our way. But for now, we're thinking we're going to be on the drier side of that. So that's really better news for us. So here's that 7-day outlook. Really low rain chances on Wednesday at 20%. Thursday and Friday looking dry, partly cloudy to mostly sunny, but up to 92 Thursday, 93 on Friday. But again, with a slightly lower humidity, we're not going to have that much of a heat index. Saturday and Sunday, partly cloudy, still hot though, 93 and 92. And then back to a 20% chance for showers on Monday and Tuesday. But again, we'll be watching that potential tropical system that is trying to develop there in Florida, as well as off the Georgia, South Carolina coast. coast. And depending on that track, will determine if we're going to be on the dry side of that system where we get subsidence on the backside, that'll keep us dry, or if it's going to be close enough to the coast that it's going to spread some more moisture our way. So we'll keep you posted on that. Thanks for joining us for this extended live update, weather update here on 11 Alive Plus and Weather Impact 24/7. We will be doing more of these during the day tomorrow and in the days ahead. Thanks for watching.